The winners of the Berlin Opera Prize opened their works to the public on Friday evening at St. Elizabeth's Above, a neoclassical church that has been converted into a cultural center for Germany's capital. The prize represents a rare opportunity in the music world, a stepping stone, as one winner described it, from student prizes to national recognition. Two works selected to share this year's first prize seemed to have their fingers on the pulse of this year's seismic social shift. This year's theme, Take It or Leave It, challenged the teams to decide which parts of opera's 400-year history should be carried into the future. Ariadne, the first by Caitlin van der Moss and Tom Smith, was called Ariadne, and drew on the mythological figure of Ariadne to tell the stories of three women, including a modern-day refugee, abandoned by men on different islands. The beginnings of theater in ancient Greece were dominated by performances of ritual songs, dances and sacrifices in honor of Dionysus, the Greek god of wine and ecstasy. Greek tragedy then evolved out of these. According to Aristotle's 384 to 322 BC theories of drama, the art form should cause the viewers to shudder and feel compassion, resulting in a cleansing effect. 17th-century French classicism, defined by order, clarity and restraint, included authors like Pierre Corneille, Voltaire and Jean Racine. Racine's tragedy, Phèdre, opened the Comédie Française theatre in 1680. The Parisian theatre remains renowned today, especially for its performances of plays by Molière, above, hence its nickname, the home of Molière, La Maison de Molière. Empress Maria Theresa, 1717–1780, initiated the theatre's creation in 1741, and the famous Burg Theatre, or Austrian National Theatre, opened its doors to the public in 1888. Today, the neo-Baroque building located opposite Vienna City Hall houses one of the German-speaking world's most important theatres. The Viennese refer to their theatre as the Burg, and its ensemble as Burg Actors. Dresden's Semperopera was named after Gottfried Semper, who also designed Vienna's Burg Theatre. The Semperopera opened in 1878 with Carl Maria von Weber's orchestral Jubel Overture, and Goethe's tragedy, Iphigenia in Tauris. Later on, composer Richard Wagner premiered many of his operas in the magnificent building. The building is home to the Saxon State Orchestra and Opera. When today's visitors enter the Royal Opera House in the London neighbourhood of Covent Garden, they are stepping into the third building built to house the Royal Company. Fires devastated the two previous structures. German composer Georg Friedrich Handel was very active here, both as a composer and as an organist. He wrote some of his operas and oratorios especially for the Royal Opera. Assassination attempts, legends and fame have marked the history of Russia's most significant theatre for opera and ballet, the Bolshoi Theatre in Moscow. Its huge ensemble, consisting of more than 200 female dancers, is seen as one of the world's best. Performances of Tchaikovsky's ballet, Swan Lake, are particularly popular with viewers. Following restoration works, the theatre reopened in 2011. The reference to Fenice, Italian for Phoenix, is anything but a coincidence. The name was chosen because the Venetian Opera House had to be reconstructed after burning to the ground. The fiery bird, a symbol of the Enlightenment, also alludes to the Freemasons, who participated in the reconstruction. Italian composer Giuseppe Verdi premiered several of his works in the Opera House. From 1880 through 1966, the Metropolitan Opera was located on Broadway. It then moved to New York City's Lincoln Square, where it remains today. The Met, one of the world's most renowned opera houses, owes much of its fame to the numerous outstanding singers and conductors that have graced its hall, such as Austrian composer Gustav Mahler. The Met gave the first opera radio broadcast in 1910. One can hardly imagine Sydney without its visually striking opera house. The unusual building was designed by Pritzker Prize-winning Danish architect Jørn Utzon and finished in 1973. While the unconventional design initially triggered a lot of controversy, the building became one of Australia's most important tourist attractions. Author Suzanne Cordes had Prophecies of Autonomy II, a science fiction opera titled Prophecies of Autonomy, takes place in a future matriarchal society where a robot called She has been taught to perform the parts of all the great opera heroines in history and is trying to understand what it is to be a woman and how women are perceived and expected to behave. We were in part influenced by the latest Blade Runner film, Black Mirror, Artificial Intelligence, the media omissions. While both operas received positive reviews on their artistic merits, notably from Berlin's largest radio station, RBB, Tidra was a bit perplexed by some notable omissions in local reporting of the event. At first I was pleased to see reporters from the Berliner Morgenpost at the premiere, but I was quite shocked to read their article the next day. It mentions 3 people: the chairman of the New Kölner Oper, the opera house we worked with, the moderator and a representative of GASAG, the company that sponsored the prize, he said, referencing Berlin's second most read daily newspaper. Yes, they enabled the projects to be realized. But it's strange that the coverage focused on 3 old men when the theme of both operas was the empowerment of women, and 3 of the 5 winners were young women. But for those who haven't missed the point, there is one more chance to see both groundbreaking operas at Berlin Street. Elizabeth Kirch on Saturday. Each evening at 18:30 UTC, DW's editors send out a selection of the day's hard news and quality feature journalism. You can sign up to receive it directly here.